Hello and welcome to another episode. At the moment we've got the Ioniq 5. We've had it for a few days now and I just wanted to give myself that time to sort of get used to it and see how I really felt about it, because from the first time I've seen the Ioniq 5 I haven't been a fan of how it looks. Mainly I hadn't driven it until now, and on the first day I drove it I wasn't entirely sure and I just thought, no, got to give it a chance, let's be fair, give it a few days. Please remember to check out our other videos and to click on the subscribe button and tap on the bell icon so you get notifications each time we upload another video. I think the main thing for me that I've found is that it is so big and heavy. It feels enormous inside and looking at it from the outside. Going around corners, the handling feels heavy because the car is heavy. I haven't enjoyed driving it, to be honest, and I've been trying my best to like it. There are some really nice features. I mean, the cockpit is absolutely enormous. It's got a flat floor, so there's loads of foot room. Glove box is interesting. It's actually a drawer. Not sure of the benefits of that or if there's any negatives of that. I suppose we haven't used it a lot, so but it's something a bit different, I guess. Just thinking about how it looks, I first saw this car at EVs in the Park back in the summer, sort of in the flesh, and everyone was saying, oh look at it, isn't it beautiful, it's such a nice looking car, and I was like, I don't think it is. And for me it's very futuristic and it has grown on me. I mean, the first time I saw it I thought and then since then it has grown on me. Over the days when I've used it, it's become slightly more appealing, but I do think again it's one of those cars which is going to date quite quickly. Could be wrong, just my opinion. I have had people in the last couple of days say to me, that's a nice looking car, and I've been like, really? But you know, everybody's view is different. Just going back to the interior, there is one thing which Florence in particular loves, and that's the mood lighting, which you can change the colour of. When we're getting up early in the mornings to go somewhere, or we're driving home in the evenings, you've got this lovely mood lighting sort of around the cockpit, which is, it does look really good. And sitting in the back, I did this the other day when James was driving, and it's got this kind of luxurious feel to it in the back seat. Quite enjoyed my time in the back seat. The seats, they are very comfortable, I think. They're quite firm, so I haven't done a massively long distance in one go yet, so I can't comment on whether I would have num-bum from these seats, but they feel quite comfortable. They're very supportive, nice width, kind of feel like you're being cocooned a little bit, and they're heated and ventilated. Currently have my driver's seat on setting number 2, and it is very nice, I've got to say. The other thing I really appreciate is a heated steering wheel, and I miss that very much in our Tesla, and this has it. I get extremely cold hands, and this is something that I appreciate and I will miss. There are 2 screens on the dash, which currently I still find quite confusing. I need to spend some time getting used to them, so we've got another, oh my goodness, quite a few more days yet to go. So I think by the end of it, I hopefully will have got used to them and I can tell you a little bit more. This model has something interesting. It has a solar panel on the roof. And I saw that and I thought, that's really cool, because a lot of people have talked for a long time about electric cars and why they don't have solar panels to assist with charging. And you know, it sounds like a really good idea, but actually if you look at the statistics, I think Hyundai have said you get between 5 and 6 kilometers per day, but that's only if you're driving in a hot sunny climate such as the south of France or Spain. So we're not going to get that in the UK. I mean, yes, it's going to contribute and it's going to give you something, but it's not going to be wowing you with its input, let's just say. It looks nice though from the top when we're looking down on it from our house. It actually looks like a panoramic roof. Well, I thought it was until I came downstairs and looked at it properly. The Ioniq 5 has a head-up display. I think that might be an optional extra, but I'll have to check. And I particularly find that useful. I mean, you have to set it at the right height, otherwise it can be a little bit distracting. But I do find that useful to have, so I'm not having to constantly look down at the dash. Another quite interesting feature, which I've not experienced in the same degree on any other electric car or otherwise, I wasn't expecting it. I was sitting in Asda car park about to reverse, put it into reverse, and it felt like the whole car shook, and a red light came on and it was telling me that there was something behind me, so not to reverse. It was, like I say, a bit of a shock. I didn't know what it was, and I thought, oh my goodness, the steering wheel was shaking. It felt like the whole car was like vibrating at me. But it's quite a useful feature, because if you are in a world of your own sometimes, which everybody is, and you know there is something behind you or in front of you when you're trying to move, it definitely lets you know, that's for sure. A negative which I found over the last few days, I'm not a fan of lane keep assist. Is it lane keep assist or lane assist? One of the two. But I'm not a fan of that at all. I find it quite disconcerting when I'm driving to find that the car's either pulling to the left or the right. And on this it feels particularly strong. And to turn it off, you have to press and hold a little button on the steering wheel. Frustratingly, you have to do that every time you start the car. It doesn't remember. I don't think there's any way of setting that. Possibly there is. Like I say, we've only had it a couple of days. But I personally, when I remember, will always turn that off. I was driving Florence to my mum's this morning, and it's quite a windy road, and every time I went around the corner, the Ioniq didn't like my driving line, clearly, because it kept trying to pull me back over to a different way, and I just don't like that. So Florence, what do you think of the Ioniq 5?
I like it when it goes forward all by itself, and when Daddy pressed the button inside and backwards all by itself when Daddy's inside and press the button.
Oh yes, so on the key fob it has a feature which means that you can make the car go forwards and backwards just using a button on the key fob, doesn't it? So
yeah,
if you want to get it out of a tight parking space, or we use it to get it away from the front of our garage so that we can open our garage door. And it's really easy to get in and out, isn't it? Because it's quite high up.
Yeah.
So putting your car seat in and out was easy, and Florence pretty much gets in by herself, don't you now?
Yeah, but I can't even close the door because it's too heavy on the car.
Yeah, the car doors are very heavy, just like the rest of the car's very heavy. And the other funny thing about the doors is that there's no obvious place to put your hand to close the door once you're inside. And I had a moment when I first drove it when I was like, I don't know how to close the door, and I couldn't work it out, and I think I closed it by holding on to something really random. Anyway, what I figured out is that the armrest has a little gap between the back of the armrest and the actual door card itself, and you just put your hand there. And I wasn't sure about it to start with, but now I quite like it, because it's like a hidden handle, isn't it? Yeah. So would you have one of these, Florence?
Yeah.
What you would? Would you have an Ioniq instead of the Tesla?
I'll have Tesla and and even the Ioniq.
Oh, okay.
I'll have 3 cars.
You want 3 cars?
Yeah.
Oh my word, I'm not sure we're going to be able to do 3. If you had to choose one car out of all 3 of those cars, which one would you have?
The Tesla and the Ioniq.
The Tesla.
But I like to have one when I'm bigger.
What would you drive when you're bigger?
I would drive a red Ioniq. Oh, there's a black one.
Oh, I think that was a... don't know what that was. It was a Hyundai, wasn't it? But I don't know what it was.
That was the Ioniq, that black car.
Do you think it was?
It had down and push and a down again.
You are good. Florence recognises cars better than me.
Yeah, I
so,
do.
When you're a big girl,
yeah,
you want a red car.
Yeah.
And what make of car would you have? Did you say Ioniq?
Yeah.
Ah, that was a nifty little feature. I'm in a queue of traffic waiting to turn right.
Actually, I might have a rainbow one.
Oh yeah, that would be good. I love rainbows. So we're just in a queue of traffic waiting to turn right out of a junction, and it's beeping at me, even though I'm nowhere near anything. And it has a little feature where it tells you when the car in front is moving forwards. Because, as we all know, when we're sat in a queue of traffic, especially if you're on the motorway, you don't necessarily keep your eyes completely focused the whole time. You know, if you're looking out of a window or something and it just flashed up and said, car in front is moving forwards. I think the 0 to 60 on this is something like 5.1 seconds, which isn't actually that bad considering it is enormously heavy. It's like driving a rhino, isn't it?
Yeah.
So 5.1 seconds, it's not too bad. I just want to try, where's the voice thingy? I'm just going to speak to it and see if it'll take us to Hinckley. Right there, Fluz. Take me to Hinckley.
For results found, please say the line number.
1.
Do you want to set this as the destination?
Yes.
The guidance will start now.
Is it doing it?
Yes.
Ah, there we go. That's not what I expected. It's a bit of a basic sat-nav. Very basic sat-nav. Might have to see if we can change that. I mean, it has got Apple CarPlay, which is a big bonus.
Yeah, but there's cute little songs there.
Little songs.
There's cute little ones, and it's got Peppa Pig on it as well.
Well, that makes it all better.
The drive selector on the Ioniq 5 is a chunky monkey and requires a twist opposed to a push up and down, which I'd naturally assumed it would be. There are plenty of USBs and charging options dotted around, and you also have this wireless charging plate which seemed to charge my phone very quickly. The boot is shallow, but did manage our running buggy when fully collapsed. It's rather deceptive and will hold more than you think. You get a power lift tailgate, which can also be operated by the key, and the rear lamps are full LED and look rather good in our opinion. However, you may notice there's no rear wiper fitted, and after a few hundred miles this becomes very noticeable, especially at this time of year. The electrochromatic rear view mirror works well, although I'm not sure if this was slightly aided by the dirt we gathered on the rear glass. The headlights are also full LED with high beam assist, and that works very well, although for a car built to this standard I'd like to have had matrix LEDs which give a noticeably better performance. And finally, you get a pretty good app, so you can activate preheating and cooling and check charging status and much more on the go.
Now, I'm currently sat at Rugby at the Moto services. I'm plugged into the 350 kilowatt chargers, and this has 800 volt architecture, which means it can charge very quickly. However, I am charging at 59 kilowatts and it's telling me it's going to take 23 minutes to get to 80%, which isn't the end of the world, but it's nowhere near what this car is capable of. And I think that is because the battery needs time to warm up. I haven't actually been able to manage to work out how you can set a destination in this to get it to warm up or preheat before you get to a location. Maybe it's not there yet, maybe it's part of the over-the-air updates which this car does support. Okay, so I'm going to just touch on a few things that I really like. Bear in mind this is a Project 45 car and it is not cheap, £48,000. It is a very nice vehicle. It drives very well. Very smooth, power delivery is lovely, 3 driving modes which you can just fiddle around with here on the steering wheel, so nice and quick. Very similar to the Porsche, but you don't twist it. And the power's plentiful, you know, it's over 300 brake horsepower, so good, and plenty of torque and 4-wheel drive. It is a Project 45, so it comes with a few options. Solar roof, I'm not so sure about that. It's generated 11.4 kilowatt hours since it was new, over 8,000 miles. All that said, it is winter, so it's going to do something. The interior build is pretty much one of the best you will see. It's up there with Lexus, it's up there with BMW, Mercedes, all very much on a par. It's got some really nice funky ambient lighting which sits in the speakers and goes into the door cards here, front and rear, and that's nice as well. If you look inside at the moment, all the interior lights are on and it's really well lit, so I'm really liking that. Electric adjustable rear seats, electric adjustable front seats, you've got heated and ventilated front seats, you've got heated rear seats, nice armrest in the middle. It's got a nice flat floor that goes across here. This whole center section here moves, so that can increase or decrease space either at the front or the rear, and you can turn it into a table, I think, at the back. I think you can do something like that at the back apparently. It's also got a few other funky features. It's got vehicle to load. I again am not sold on this. I've lived without vehicle to load on EVs for over 10 years. I'm not sure why I'd need it now. This does have a 3-pin socket tucked down behind the rear seats. That is about all I would need if I needed to charge an electrical appliance quite quickly, maybe a battery drill or something, or maybe a laptop. But honestly, I can't really see the use in vehicle to load. It just doesn't seem like anything I'd use in the real world. Put it in a van, that's different, but on a car, just not really seeing it. Regen, we've got level 0, which is coasting, level 1, which is medium, probably similar to an ice, level 2, a little bit more intense, and then level 3, which is quite intense. And then you've got iPedal, which will bring you to a complete stop. It really is one pedal. And then you've also got auto. You can pull this paddle on the left hand side of the steering wheel, and that will bring you to a stop. That is not new to Hyundai. Only the iPedal is, I think. I don't remember seeing that on previous variants, but that's pretty much how I would drive it in iPedal. Please bear in mind that I'm pro EV, and if I can get somebody to drive an EV over an internal combustion car, I will. However, there are a few things about this vehicle which don't sit that well with me, and I think them thoughts are resonated with Kate. It is obscenely heavy. Heavy in a way that I can't even explain to you until you drive it. Any way you drive this vehicle, you can feel the weight. I can feel the chassis and the suspension resonating, rebounding, and it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good at all. I have had situations driving this where I thought in a corner, I'm not happy with that. And bear in mind, this is 4-wheel drive, so it should be able to hold its own. I'm not happy with it. With that, I picked the car up from Kate to bring it here. It done about 80-ish miles, and she's been doing 2.5 miles per kilowatt hour, tootling around town with Florence, and that is just not good enough. I know it's winter, but that's bad. The previous car to this, the old Ioniq, which I know is a lot smaller, I know it's nowhere near as nicely built and hasn't got all the Fandangle kit on it, anything you win over in charging speeds here, you almost give back in loss of efficiency. This car at 2.5 miles per kilowatt hour is less than half of what the previous Ioniq can do. So it just doesn't sit well with me that they've built this and it is performing so badly. Well, this one is certainly performing so badly for us. And bear in mind, that's Kate driving, not me. Not doing anything silly, tootling around town. Okay folks, I am at 97%. I've put in 47.54 kilowatt hours in 47 minutes. And actually the charge speed has been a bit up and down, but it did get up to about 140 kilowatts, I think, or 125 kilowatts. It did quite well. So I don't doubt that if we could get some temperature into the battery first, it would work very well. However, no idea how to do that. Okay, from here, I've got 161 miles to go. It's going to take me 2.5 hours. It's going to be 70 all the way. I'm going to reset all the trips and just see what it kicks out. All right, guys, see you there. Alright, that's me at the halfway point. I've done 81.6 miles. averaging 2.9 miles per kilowatt hour, and that's taken 1 hour and 17 minutes, and that's been 70 all the way, apart from the roadworks past Stoke-on-Trent where it was down to 60. We've got 79 miles to go. It's going to take 1 hour and 20 minutes. I'm actually a bit surprised that the efficiency is quite this high, because it was a lot less than this. I think it was 2.6 on the way down, so it's doing quite well. While I've got you, I want you to just have a quick listen to how quiet it is in the cabin. There's no mics here. This is purely a GoPro and me talking from about half a metre away, and it is very, very refined. The car that I put it on a par with would be the Mercedes EQC, which is double glazed all round. This sounds like that. In fact, I don't know if this is double glazed, but it is very quiet. Probably that it's got good tyres on as well, but road noise is minimal. The difference between this and the Tesla Model 3 is way better for the Hyundai, no two ways about it. Okay, the Tesla may have it for efficiency, but it hasn't got it for refinement and road noise. This is very, very good. So, all right, folks, I'll leave it there. I'll see you in a bit. I'm sat here outside DSG in Morecambe, exactly 160.9 miles from the superchargers in Rugby, and I've averaged 2.8 miles per kilowatt hour, and it's took me 2 hours and 46 minutes. Take 15 minutes off that, I went through McDonald's drive-through, got myself a flat white. Now, that gives me 20% on the battery, and that's actually not too bad because conditions aren't ideal, but I think overall we're looking at around 195 that would have given me, which is pretty good. Obviously in the colder conditions that's going to drop off, and in the warmer conditions that's going to improve, but just to give you a ballpark figure of where it's going to be, 2.8 miles per kilowatt hour is it. Anyway, folks, I'm going to leave it there. I hope that myself, Kate and Florence have given you an insight into what the Ioniq 5 can do. It really is a great vehicle with a few shortfalls, but if that helps you make an informed decision on whether it's right for you or not, then we've done our job. So I'll leave it there. So thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like, share and subscribe, and follow us on Twitter at Kate Phantom, and I'll see you soon in another episode. Bye for now.